Hello everybody and welcome back to another ASMR Kerbal Space Program video. I guess this would be episode number 2. We're out here on the surface of the moon after a successful landing. And in today's video we're going to be returning back to Kurban, hopefully all in one piece, completely safely. And then we're going to start working on a space station around the orbit of Kurban. If you missed episode 1, we kind of did an Apollo-style mission to the moon, except for I did 2 separate launches of each vessel and then rendezvoused over Kurban. And of course, launched to the moon, deboarded 2 guys onto the lunar lander, and then successfully landed, took some samples and all that fun jazz. And this has been a really successful mission so far. I took some feedback, from the last video I made and made some adjustments to my microphone. I do have a Blue Yeti. So if anyone has any other suggestions or whatever, I'm not really sure what I'm doing over here, just let me know. But here we are, taking off from the surface of the moon, watching the moon go further and further away as we start to do a time lapse trying to get to a rendezvous. I haven't really played this game all too much in a really, really long time. I used to play this game way back in the day. I would watch, Scott Manley and Matt Lone. And there was this other guy, Thor LP, that I used to watch when I was very young. And I had sunk hours, almost, I want to say thousands of hours into Kerbal Space Program when I was younger. And obviously, with the Artemis missions, I kind of reignited my, love and passion for space and stuff, and kind of thought I would hop on and see if I could send people to the moon, and I did. It was actually a lot of fun. It's been a long time since I had done a mission to the surface of the moon. Obviously, I have a bunch of mods on, now that I'm an adult. I can get a decent gaming PC. So I already have, a decent gaming PC, and it was really, really cool to play Kerbal Space Program with mods and not at 7 frames per second, like how I was back in the day on a really crappy laptop. But, I got thousands and thousands of hours in this game at 7 frames per second when I was a little kid. It is crazy to even think about. I don't know how I did that, but this game's amazing. I learned a lot with it, but now here I am getting close to a rendezvous with the vessel that's going to bring us home, doing a little retrograde burn, trying to minimize our speed. I do believe that the lunar lander, I forgot to install RCS on board. I believe it does have a lot of RCS propellant fluid fuel, but no RCS things. So, I had to manually do it from the main vessel here. But we're going to go ahead and get a successful dock. Very, very awesome. Above the lunar surface, a good 75,000 meters above the surface there, which isn't very far off the surface. It's just the moon is kind of small in this game, so it seems a little bit further away. I think the next time I want to try to get some satellites going around a polar orbit around both the moon and Kurban and establish some communications, so any mission I do in the future will always be in communication with Kurban, and we won't lose communication, put them in a really, really high solar orbit. But we're getting ready to say goodbye to the lunar lander. I'm going to name it here. And unfortunately, I have a little bit of an accident trying to kind of pull away because as I was mentioning, I don't have any RCS propellant because I'm dumb. I got enough fuel for RCS, but no engine thing. But here I go. swinging that thing around, and there it goes. We make contact with the main vessel. Oops, a daisies. Fortunately, everyone's okay. Everyone survived. Just embarrassing, I guess. We won't tell Houston about that one. We're just gonna go ahead and do our burn now to Kurban. Now we're gonna be traveling at a very, very high rate of speed above the lunar surface, and I'm trying to set myself up here, not for interception with Kurban, but just interception with its atmosphere. We're gonna be kind of coming in a little hot to the atmosphere. So, but luckily we have a little bit of delta V left still, so I do end up doing a retrograde burn in the actual surface. But here's a beautiful image here. I did take a screenshot during this, and I'm not sure if I'm going to use it as the thumbnail. There's a couple other screenshots I took that were really, really good. But here we are on board, taking a look at the lunar surface we were just walking on with Maz. It's really, really beautiful to look at, you know, and of course there's no stars in the sky from the reflection of how bright the surfaces are and such. But here we are, all the way back above Kurban, and there's our final retrograde burn to try to just bleed off some speed, or I guess that was it right there. And then I, didn't separate, I didn't decouple yet, so the way I do it here is pretty bad, and I'm actually really lucky that we survived that right there. That was kind of brutal, but here we are. And then I gotta turn off the weird red line that was coming out of my ship there, and we are on fire on reentry. It looks absolutely beautiful. Everyone's cooking up, hitting some decent G-forces you can see on the bottom there. And then there we go, falling back to Kurth. I don't know if it's called Kurth or Kurban, but at least we're gonna make it a water landing. Got the chutes going out, deployed. Gonna jettison the heat shield. I love the word jettison. It's an awesome word to say. In fact, I'm gonna say it again. Jettison. It's a really, really fun one. And mission successful, man. I was really, really happy and proud about that one. It's been, like I was saying, a really, really long time since I've done a mission to the moon. Now it is time to start constructing our space station. I took the pre-save that the game gives you for the space station core. It's really basic, but I definitely add a lot onto it. As you can see, I got some RCS engines added this time. The big, RCS propellant for fuel, some lights. I essentially want to have this as a docking station in orbit for maybe a future Duna mission to resupply on fuel, and we can build like a massive ship in orbit right on the space station, and then have that ship get topped off with fuel, and then do a giant mission to Duna. And I will be completely honest, I have never done a legitimate mission to Duna ever, or any other planet other than the moon, or Minmus, I believe it's called, the second moon around Kurban in this game. I have done those missions though, I've gone to Duna and stuff, but always with just cheats on. You can just turn cheats on, unlimited fuel, and do whatever in the world you want. But I'm hoping one of these days, definitely going to be multiple episodes from now, we'll be walking on the surface of Duna for my first ever time legitimately, after owning this game for over a decade and having thousands of hours in it. This game is not very easy. But now I'm just filling the space station with just random garbage that probably won't really do me any good. And it's kind of time to start thinking about the propulsion and how exactly we're going to get this thing into orbit. I can do that whole decoupling thing I got on there for aerodynamics, the couple nose, which is kind of a new thing to me in this game. That wasn't really around when I was first playing way back in the day, but get some solid fuel or solid rocket boosters attached on this thing, and we're only trying to get to orbit, so I'm thinking that this will be good enough. We're going to go ahead and fill up the spaceship aside from the other bay where we can have some other guys come in and chill. But here we are on the launch pad. The solid rocket boosters weren't enough, so I had to activate the middle engine and kind of just go quarter throttle. And that'll get us enough momentum to start moving up. Going through the volumetric clouds. Everything's looking really good. Should be able to get this thing into orbit. No problem. Turned off the middle engine. Solid boosters ran out. And we got this first stage decoupled very successfully. Now we gotta try to... I always do this so inefficient. I'm too scared to turn the thing in the atmosphere. I'm gonna end up losing a lot of control, so I always do my turn and burn in space as we're trying to get it in orbit from the apoapsis. Then I'm gonna spend some time here. I'll decouple that, John. But I'm trying to get it in a really equal orbit here, and I want to try to have it be really low as well, you know, just right around 75,000 meters, which is where the atmosphere begins. Kind of just around that area, so we don't have to use too much delta V when trying to rendezvous with the space station. Or maybe the atmosphere is actually 70,000 meters, somewhere near that. But yeah, it looks like we're at 71, so try to get it as low as we could, and going to get us into a beautiful vertical orbit here, so our solar panels can always be facing the sun. And then we're just taking a look around at some of the onboard here. That guy's got quite the facial hair, and the guy we're on board with is pretty excited. And I'm pretty excited about this project, about making a space station. Don't mind that glitch right there. It's been definitely some time. You know, I remember making space stations on my laptop, like I was talking about, but as mentioned, it was only about 7 frames per second, so the game crashed a lot. I really wasn't able to make anything too crazy of a space station. But before I ended this thing, I wanted to jump out of it and fly around, you know, and check the place out at night, you know, and just kind of see how beautiful it was. And I didn't really even realize, but one of the mods I had puts the reflection of whatever you're looking at on the Kerbal's visor. I mean, I think that's a mod, at least. I wouldn't think that was base game. It very well might be, but it's just too cool. This game is too awesome. And, you know, there's plenty of fuel still left on that stage there. So I do plan on doing another rendezvous and just filling that thing up to the brim. And then maybe even doing another rendezvous to add another fuel thing. 'Cause at the top there, I did put a coupler that, you know, is the size of that, so we can extend the space station vertically. And I think, you know, that would be really good. And here I am. I'm actually looking at the other planets in the solar system. With this mod I have, you can kind of see them off in the distance. It's really, really cool. But yeah, I'd say in this next episode, episode 3, we're going to be trying to build onto this space station, and then maybe working on some satellite communications in orbit around both Kurban and the moon. But I really appreciate everyone watching, and of course, if anyone has any feedback or ideas or things you want to see me do or anything like that, just let me know. Of course, you know, thanks again. Thanks a lot again once more. Leave a like on it. I'm really bad at outros, and if you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks a lot for watching, and goodbye.